Hi Silem stars, you're welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then you're welcome to my channel. My name is Silem. Very pleased to meet you. Don't forget to subscribe down below and join the Silem family. In today's video, guys, I'm going to show you how to make a corset dress with a yoke and a basque waistline. This corset dress also has drapings in front and 3D appliques. So I'm going to show you how to make 3D appliques from start to finish, as well as how to attach it to your corset dress. So if you want to see how we do this, definitely keep on watching. Now, before we get right into the video, I want to introduce you all to the sponsor of today's video, Luxuria. Luxuria is an online fashion marketplace that allows you to showcase your designs to people all around the world. This is 2024. You cannot depend on your social media alone to get you clients for your fashion business. This is where Luxuria comes in. Now, whether you're a designer or you're a customer, Luxuria has an app for you. For designers, you can go ahead and register on the Luxuria Vendors app. Take pictures of the design that you want to promote and upload it on the app. After that, sit back and relax and watch the orders roll in. Once the orders come in, Luxuria takes charge of the shipping, whether it's domestic or international. On the other hand, if you're a customer, you can register on the Luxuria app and you're going to see that you have tons of designers and designs to choose from. For instance, if you're looking to order an Ankara dress, all you have to do is click on the Ankara dress category and you're going to see tons of Ankara dresses that you can choose from. Now, once you've chosen the Ankara dress that you want to order, Luxuria has an AI full body measurements feature that makes it so easy for you to get your measurements taken right there on the app, right from the comfort of your home. Guys, this is so mind-blowing, okay? So whether you're a vendor or a customer, you're sure to have a seamless experience on the Luxuria app. To download Luxuria, simply click the link in my pinned comments. Thank you again to Luxuria for sponsoring today's video.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to start with making the 3D appliques. So I'm just taking my paper and I'm folding it into two, like so. I'm creating a flower design. So after folding my paper into two, I'm going to fold it again into four. Just the same way you cut a flare or a circle, okay? Now you want to decide the radius of your circle. It depends on how big you want your flower to be. You can use 2.5 as the radius. You can use 3.5. But I decided to use 4 inches because that's how big I want my flower to be, okay? So it depends on what you want. Also, your 3D applique doesn't have to be a flower design. Any design you want, all you have to do is to create it. But for me, like I said, I'm making a flower and the radius of the flower is 4 inches. So I'm just marking 4 inches from the bottom left corner. Just moving my tape and just marking that same 4 inches, making sure that the zero mark is in one place, okay, at that bottom left corner, okay. Then I'm going to connect those points together and then I'm going to cut along that curve to create my circle. So this is what the circle looks like, okay. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to measure around, want to measure the circumference of this circle. So I'm going to use my tape and I'm going to measure all the way around the circle. Starting from the top, I'm just going to measure all the way around. Now pay attention to the way I am placing my tape. As you can see, I'm kind of standing my tape as I move it along, the circumference of the circle. You don't want to keep your tape flat. This is the way you measure curves, okay? So just go ahead and do it gently, bit by bit, all the way till you get to the starting point, okay? Now when I was done measuring mine, what I got was 25 inches. I'm going to divide that 25 inches by 5, okay, because I want to divide my circle into 5 equal parts. So from the starting point, I just marked 5 inches, and then from that point I measured again and then I marked 5 inches again. So just keep marking 5 inches all the way around so that you divide your circle into 5 places. So if you measured your circle and you got maybe 27 inches or 18 inches, Whatever you got, just divide it by 5, and then that number you got, just keep measuring it all the way around the circle. So you can divide your circle equally into 5 equal parts. Okay. So once I was done, I'm simply going to connect all those points to the center. So I'm done now connecting all the points together. So now my circle has been divided into 5 equal parts. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide each of the parts into 2. Okay. So I'm going to measure what I have. Remember that it was 5 inches I marked. So half of 5 inches is 2.5. So I'm just going to measure 2.5 from one line. I'm going to measure 2.5 and then mark that point, so that I'm sure that I'm dividing each of the parts into 2. And then I'll go ahead and connect those points to the center again. I'm using broken lines to connect these new lines because I want to differentiate them from the first lines that I marked. Okay, so now that we have this, it's time to create the shape of our flower. Honestly, the shape of the flower you want depends on you, but for me, I'm going to come down from the edge of the paper along that broken line. I'm going to come in by 1.5 inches just to assist me to create the curve of the flower. So I'll do that for all the broken lines, and then once I'm done, I'm just going to create a curve from that broken line to the solid line. Okay, just create a curve from one broken line to the solid line and back to another broken line. Okay, so can you see the kind of curve I'm creating? If you want to have a star as your 3D design, all you have to do is just create a straight line from that broken line to the solid line. Okay, and that will give you a star shape. So it honestly depends on the design that you want for your 3D applique. Remember, you just have to be creative with it. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing. Just go ahead and do it the way you want it. So after doing that, that was the shape I got, but it was kind of looking like a starfish and not a flower. I decided to just make it a bit more pointy so that it looks more like a flower, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm going ahead now to just cut out that flower following those curved lines. Okay, and this is what we have. Can you see? Now moving on to creating the rest of the 3D applique. What I have here is organza fabric. Okay, so I'm just using my hemming gum and I'm placing it on a part of the organza fabric. Okay, now the idea is you want to make your organza fabric very very thick. So to do that, you're going to fold your organza like this onto the hemming gum part, the part that has hemming gum, and then use your iron to just iron everything just to stick the two organza sides with each other. Okay, so once you're done with that, you want to go ahead and place your hemming gum again and then do the same thing. So basically you want to have 3 layers of organza. Okay, just to make it very thick. You can have up to 5 layers, but that's going to take a lot of organza fabric, especially if you're making a lot of these 3D designs. Okay, and you might not even want that amount of thickness for your 3D appliques. So you want to decide what you want, but the least you should have should be 3 layers. Okay, so once you've placed the hemming gum like so, you want to fold your organza again and then iron it. Make sure your iron is not too hot so it does not burn the organza. Okay, remember the organza fabric is a very delicate fabric, so you don't want it to burn. Note that you want to iron your organza fabric until the hemming gum disappears, so you don't see that white look of the hemming gum. Okay, so once you're done, you go ahead and place your 3D pattern on the organza and then cut it out. So after cutting it out, this is what we have. Can you see? Now the next thing is to design your 3D appliques. Now the way you choose to design your 3D appliques depends on you. For me, I want to use cup chains. Now you can use the cup chains all the way around the edges of your flower, and then all you have to do is just use your glue to stick it down. So that's a design you can have, or you can actually just design the center part of the flower, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm using this E7000 glue. You just have to note that this candle glue does not work. Okay, if you're using cup chains, it doesn't work. You have to use like a glue like maybe B6000 or E7000 or any of these fabric glues. So all you have to do now is just be creative with the design you want. As you can see, this is how I've decided to embellish mine. You can also bead your appliques if you want with your beading thread and needle. Now, in order to make it a 3D applique, right now it is actually just 2D. If you want to make it 3D, you want it to be bendable, okay? And that's where these copper wires come in. So you want to use your copper wire. This is the 0.5 millimeter copper wire. So I'm just folding it and I'm just twisting it against itself, just twisting it onto itself like that. And then I'm using the glue to just mark a straight line. I'm just creating a straight line with the glue, and I'm just using the copper wire to place on that glue. Make sure that your glue gets tacky before you stick the copper wire to the appliques. So as you can see now, it is now bendable, and that's what makes it 3D, because it looks more real and natural. So now moving on to the dress itself. As you can see, I've already sewn my corset dress. This is the front piece. This is a beaded lace, and I've gone ahead to take out the beads on the sides where I'm going to sew. I have a detailed tutorial on how to make a corset dress with a yoke and a basque waistline, which is what I made for this tutorial. And I also have a corset online class that you can join if you don't know how to make a corset. Now this is the back piece of my dress, and this is the drape fabric. For the length of the drape fabric is simply double the length of my skirt, and then the width of the drape fabric is 36 inches, which is basically 1 yard. So I'm just creating pleats. As you can see, I placed the draping fabric on the right side of the back piece, and I just created pleats, and then I'm just pinning it to that back piece, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew from the top all the way to the bottom. Since it's a beaded fabric, I'm going to make sure to take out all the stones along that line before I sew it, so it doesn't break my needle. Then after sewing, I'm going to go ahead and place the second back piece on top of the other back piece, and then I'm going to join them along that center back. Okay, after that, I'm going to place the front piece on top of the back pieces like so. I went ahead to also hem the joining, that's the half length joining. Okay, now I'm going ahead to mark the measurements of my clients. The bust circumference, I just divided it by 4, and I marked it from the center to one side and from the center to the other side. I did the same thing for the waist. Okay, and I also did the same thing for the hip measurements. Okay, so at this point, just go ahead and confirm your measurements. Now the same thing I have on the hip, I'm going to mark that on the hem. Okay, just because this skirt is quite short and there's really no point making it pencil. Now I'm going to join the front and back pieces along the shoulders. Okay, and then I'm going to also join them along the sides.
So guys, this is what the dress looks like on the dress form. This is the front and this is the back, and this is the draped fabric dangling. I'll take this from the back and drape it to the front. So first of all, I'm tacking it together. So this is what I mean, it's separate, I'm just tacking it by itself. So can you see, I've gone ahead to tack this together separately, so it makes it so much easier for me to now tack it to the rest of the piece, and I'm sure that everything is together. Okay, I'm just going to Tack it to the side. So I tacked the top, okay? So I just took a bit of the draped fabric at the top and I tacked it to the waist. And that's why it was so important for me to, sew the draped fabric first before tacking it, so that I'm sure that it doesn't, scatter or unravel or anything. And I'm sure that, it stays together. So now that I've tacked the top, I'm going to do the same thing and tack the bottom as well.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
So hi Silem stars, it's Sunday. This is the next day. Yesterday I couldn't, attach the 3D appliques because it got really late. So this is the next day. I just got back from church and I'm so pumped up to finish this dress, because if I carry on with my day and I don't do this now, I'll probably just relax and not get it done today. So I want this dress to finish today. I don't want this dress to go with me into the new week. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and just tack this. So I'm going to tack the first one right where we have the draping. I'm going to cut off the excess draping. It's not supposed to, show. And then just going to put the first one about here. So I'm simply using my needle and thread to tack this in place.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.
Okay, so this is what the first one looks like. So obviously it has the copper wire, so I can just bend it however I want. Can you see? Okay, so I'm going to obviously place more. I have a lot. Okay, so I'm going to place them, just stack them one by one on the side like that. So basically I'm going to fill this part that doesn't have the drape, fill here, and I'm also going to add some on the shoulder like this. So I think it's going to look very, very good. So that's basically what I'm going to do right now. Okay everyone, this is the finished look. I really love how this turned out. I really cannot wait to see my clients in this dress. It is so beautiful. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Bye guys.